Welcome to Travel Boom 2021. I'm Shane Solomon. Let's get right in with the show. So we are talking everything travel, Travel Boom 2021. I'm joined with the wonderful Laurence Finn on Zoom today. I must admit, Laurence, when you approached me to present this show, I was not happy about this lockdown and the state of travel. Earlier this year, I was supposed to go and play golf in Spain with my mate Spinks from the channel. I was meant to go on a QE2 cruise to Thailand as well. So come on, mate, I need you to educate me over the next 6 weeks about travel, the state of the economy, the impact it has, when we can get our passports out again. So tell me your story about the pandemic. I believe it started for you in Dubai, didn't it?
Shane, hello, mate. It did, but you know, when COVID started, none of us really realized the impact this would have on life. You know, both from a financial point and from a medical point, and the loss of life, which is really sad. But we jumped on a flight and we headed off to Dubai, and COVID had just started. We weren't being forced to wear masks at all. We got over to Dubai, and 4 days later, on a 2-week holiday, lockdown hit. And we were sitting in Dubai seeing video on television, on Sky and BBC News, of all the shops and you know, all the toilet paper being sold, and the shelves were empty, and it looked like mass hysteria in the UK. And we were sitting in Dubai in a very controlled environment where lockdown was coming in slowly, but the supermarkets were full. You know, we were seeing these shots of empty stores and empty Tesco's, empty Asda, but Dubai, the shops were perfect. They really were perfect. And then we had the decision to make, which was about a week and a half later, was do we get on the aircraft? We eventually got our tickets back to the UK, and we got onto the last flight on Emirates out of Dubai back to Manchester. You know, and we were a little bit nervous coming to the airport. I'll be honest with you. You know, were we flying back to zombies? Were the zombies running in the streets? We had no idea. So we got on the plane. There were a lot of nervous faces, and the plane was full and packed. We wore masks the whole way back, and you know, there was a lot of fear factor. And we landed at Manchester Airport, and within 5 minutes, we'd literally walked through, and we got our suitcases. There was no medical checks. There was no one taking our temperature. You know, there was no strip searching. There was nothing going on. There literally was no medical testing going on. And the next minute we were back in the UK and life was normal again. So I think one of the big points that we're trying to get over with the show, Shane, is the importance of normal people telling their story about what has it been like to travel during this pandemic.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because everyone's just assuming everything's closed, you can't travel, you can't go on holiday. But I think everyone's asking the same question. I certainly ask. You know, I've got my shirt on, Laurence. I'm ready to go. You know, I'm wearing clothes I shouldn't be wearing right now because these are holiday clothes. But when do you think, and I'm going to ask all the guests this, their honest opinion, when do you think there's going to be some kind of normality to travel again, where people can, we've got a hashtag, you know, Travel Boom 2021. Do you think 2021 is going to be the year where we can start traveling again and feel really comfortable with that?
Shane, again, an exceptionally good point, because you and I have been speaking since the start of this pandemic, and you know, we are friends as well as obviously business colleagues. And you know, when this all came about, one looked at it and thought, is it going to be over in 3 months, 6 months? The reality is we don't know. But the reality is I am sick to death personally of these four walls. I want interaction. I actually want to come down and have a beer with you. I want to go to Spain again with Spinks. I want to start living. I don't know about Spinks. Maybe that's the wrong thing to say, but
he's too good of a golfer for us, Laurence. We leave him out.
I want to start living a normal life again, Shane. And I know this is felt by so many other people. I want to get my passport out the drawer. I want to go away on holiday. I also want to take staycations in my own country to support local business. And I know that a lot of the people watching this right at this moment are feeling exactly the same way. So I would say 2021, we are going to see a monster travel boom.
Well, I hope you're right. And I do kind of feel that. I think people are ready for that now, Laurence, to be honest. So over the next 6 shows, we are going to be interviewing people all about their real stories traveling during this lockdown and what it feels like, you know, because travel is still going on. There's restrictions, there's guidelines you've got to stand by, of course, but people are still traveling. I mean, I get Snapchats, Laurence, from people most days, and I'm like, how are you in such and such? You know, they are abroad. I'm thinking, you know, and you can see the people around them wearing the masks and things. So people are obviously traveling. But this show really is to really educate people to find out what's going on and just to spark the imagination of travelers.
That is it. And we're going to hear from some people all over the world because, you know, we're in lockdown in the UK at the moment. But we're going to hear from Darryl and Maria, who right at this moment, today, are on a staycation in Washington State, just outside of Seattle. They live in Las Vegas and they're not in lockdown.
Yeah, well, it's Travel Boom 2021. That's what we're talking about. Getting the hashtag trend in. We're going to be catching up with a lot of people over the next 6 weeks. But right now, we're going to catch up with a young lady who traveled to France recently. And that is Vanessa Gosbee. So I'm joined on the call now on Zoom with Vanessa Gosbee. Good to see you, Vanessa.
Hi there, Shane.
Well, it's good to see you, even though we're not actually that far away. It seems crazy to see you on Zoom, but it's the way it's got to be. So, Vanessa, you travelled to France by car, complete with the kids, the dog. You put the car on the Eurotunnel train. So, where did you go in France, Vanessa? It's a long drive.
Oh, it's a hell of a long drive. So, starting off from where we are in Cornwall, via London. So at the time we weren't on lockdown. I stayed at my brother's. That was my pit stop overnight. Got on the Eurotunnel train at Folkestone, out at Calais half an hour later, and then I drove down to the Loire Valley region where my parents have a home. So we spent our holiday with our family.
Okay, now how long did it take you to do that journey?
Well, it was broken down in 2 parts. So the first part about 7 hours, and then the second part about 12 hours door to door.
When you were in France with the family and you went out for breakfast or shopping, did you feel safe? The social distancing, masks, etc.?
Absolutely. They're a lot stricter in France than we are here. And then everything was in an orderly fashion. You know, when you go to the supermarket, there was a row of trolleys that had been completely sanitized to pick up, so you knew that you were completely safe and there weren't many people out and about. It's a very quiet area anyways in the centre of France. It's not like one of the tourist regions.
Now, hashtag Travel Boom 2021, we're all hoping that by 2021 at some point we'll be able to get back to some normality of travelling again. In your personal opinion and what you've experienced with going to France and things, what do you think the reality of that is for next year, do you think?
Well, I found it a really easy process. It was a lot smoother than it normally is. So actually, I prefer it. I think that if people have faith in the system, I don't think that there should be much of a change, to be honest with you. It was easier for me, apart from the return journey when they announced the lockdown. So there was that dash home. But aside from that, I think it's just going to be better, to be fair.
Well, let's talk about that a moment. So you get over to France and all of a sudden you get notice that you've pretty much got to come back to the UK again, right?
Oh, no, it was really crazy. We had about 24 hours. I tried so hard to book another ticket to get back so I didn't get locked down, but I couldn't do it. We were just too far away from the border to be able to make the ferry that I found to get back. You know, I was just going to ditch the train, get on a ferry. That would have taken me from Roscoff into Plymouth, but it was just too much. So, yeah, unfortunately.
So these shows are all about really trying to inspire the people, educate people who want to travel or are missing the travel. What's going on out there with people's real opinions and feedback? So are you kind of deterred from traveling again during the current times and even when better times come?
Oh no, I know. I'm trying to go skiing for Christmas. Nothing's going to stop me. You know, it's safe. You know, as long as you keep your distance and you keep sanitizing, you wear your masks and everything. Why stop traveling? Why stop living your life? You know, we don't know when tomorrow's going to end for us. So just live life for today. It's always been my policy. 𝐃𝐕𝐿𝐵𝐷𝐿.
Well, on that note, I really love that. Well, Vanessa, thank you very much and safe travels wherever your travels take you next. And we'll catch up with you real soon.
Thank you. Welcome. Bye.
Our thanks to Vanessa Gosbee there. We're going to catch up now with James Sowden. So catching up with James Sowden now. James went over to Greece in September with his lovely wife. James joins me on Zoom now. James, how are you, sir?
I'm very well, very well.
Look at that backdrop as well. We were just talking before we started filming, and that is a real photograph of yours from your recent trip. Is that right?
That is 𝗘𝗣𝗜𝗦𝗢𝗓 Beach in Naxos.
Amazing. Well, we're touching base with as many people as we can about their personal travel stories during lockdown, during COVID, all these things. And of course, you've got a bit of a story to tell as well for your recent trip. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, we've been to Greece quite a few times before, and we wanted to go back. It's just such a beautiful place. We did have to make some minor arrangements once a couple of islands got put on a list for quarantine. So we flew through Athens and then caught a little connecting flight onto the islands to get ourselves there without having to worry about quarantine for when we came back. But once we were there, it was absolutely great, easy to get around, not too many people, and it was just really nice, chilled and relaxed.
And you felt safe. I think that's the biggest thing that most people can relate to at the moment is that, what does it feel like to travel now? Did you feel safe?
Yeah, the flight was the worst bit, as you would imagine. You know, there's still whatever a flight can take, 180 people on a plane, and it was pretty packed. But once you're off the plane, once you're out the airport, you know, once you're actually there, you could see a bit of a drop in numbers as you were walking around. There was a few less people, but, you know, you go into a nice warm place, you're out in the open, spend most of your time outdoors. You can see the beach there has very few people on it. So yeah, it felt very safe, you know, really nice, enjoyable.
And what do you think 2021 looks like? We've got this kind of hashtag Travel Boom 2021 going on at the moment, but what do you think 2021 looks like for James and your travel plans?
Well, we hope to go back. We loved it so much. We want to go back again for next year. Maybe even try some different islands. As long as the flights are on, you know, we'll be going back. You know, it's the hotels are there. It was great. All the restaurants and bars are open. They're ready for our business. To be honest, I think they'll be looking forward to a boom next year to try and make up for what they've lost this year.
So there's nothing really then from the pandemic that's affecting you wanting to get away at all?
Not at all, not at all. Looking forward to getting back. Obviously, if our weather were as nice as theirs, maybe not, but got to get some sun in, haven't we? So yeah, I literally can't wait to go back. So looking forward to it.
Well, that's great. Well, James, thank you very much. With all the issues that you would have faced on your holiday, is there any that stand out most to you?
No, I think you just got to accept it, to be honest. You just got to accept it for what it is. You know you're going to have to wear a mask on the plane. You know you've got to wear a mask on buses. You know you've got to take precautions, keep your distance, things like that. Sensible things. It's just having that in your mind, and it's easy enough to do. And just go and enjoy yourself, to be fair. Just accept it and go and do it.
Great advice, my friend. Great advice. Well, thank you very much for jumping on the Zoom with us today, and safe travels wherever you go to next.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
So I'm joined now with Darryl on the show. Great to see you, Darryl. You're looking well. Holidays must be treating you well, sir.
Absolutely. Hey, I'll be there for that drink in just a minute.
And I believe you're on a staycation right now. Is that right?
Not on a staycation here. We're in the state of Washington. Actually, I'm visiting my daughter here, but we normally stay downtown Seattle at one of the hotels. We constantly travel. We love to travel.
So what's your take on travel right now within the last, well, let's say 12 months, you know, certainly since the pandemic's been around? What's your thoughts on travel?
It's wonderful. It's still amazing. It's just you have to take a few extra precautions. And my wife and I, when we travel and with our kids, whenever they do come with us, we just take the extra precaution. But we've had no challenges. We traveled since January, the beginning of this year, and we're going to continue to travel and continue to go places. We're at a location right now, happens to be at my daughter's house here in Washington, but normally we stay at, even when we visit her, we end up staying in Seattle somewhere.
Now, I believe you've had something like 8 holidays or staycations this year. Is that right?
Actually, 9. We have an amazing
Wow.
membership that gives us 8 days and 7 nights, and so far we've had 9 of those 8 days, 7 night stays in different areas.
Now, you live in Vegas. Do you ever go and stay in some of the nice hotels there?
Oh, absolutely. We just had an incredible stay at the Wynn. Wynn happens to be probably the most iconic. The Wynn happens to be, probably one of the most prestigious hotels in Las Vegas. And we just stayed there 4 days and 3 nights, and it was literally unbelievable.
Well, this is great hearing your kind of take on things, because the reason we're doing this whole travel show and, hashtag Travel Boom 2021 is just to kind of give people a bit more confidence again with people who are traveling, and someone like yourself who's traveling a lot. Now, do you see a time next year that things can get back to a more normal kind of travel experience?
Well, no question about it. It's just like anything, everything has its season, and what's going on right now is having its season. And there's no question about it. It's going to be gone at some point in time next year. I'm hoping by the first or second quarter, everybody's taken care of and there's no challenges. But even though I say that, when we fly in planes today, they're 70% full, which would probably be 100%, but the airlines are only allowing, 60 to 70% of the plane to be full. When we go to hotels, they're packed. When we go to these resorts, they're packed. When you look at the Strip in Las Vegas and go hang out, I mean, there's thousands and thousands of people there. So people are doing it now, but there's no question about it. There's going to be a huge travel boom in 2021.
A lot of people watching this will be glad to hear that. Now, I know that yourself and your wife are traveling a lot, but you are both part of a travel club. Are the other members really traveling as well, as much as yourselves, for example, in 2020?
Yeah, we've had more people with our travel club travel this past summer than any time in our company's history. And that's an 8-year-old travel membership club. And people are just enjoying the stays. And again, people are taking precautions. And, for an example, when we travel, just as an extra precaution, even though the hotels are doing it, what the Wynn did was just unprecedented. You walk in and they don't even have to come up to you and do your forehead. They have a machine that as soon as you walk through the door, it picks up everybody's temperature, and they give you these packages that will help you stay, safe during the stay. So people are doing their job. And when we go to a hotel, we bring our extra little cleaner things just to wipe down a few things just in case. I don't think we have to do it. It's overkill, but my wife feels comfortable doing that.
Absolutely. Well, precaution, I think, is a word you said there. I think is probably the key message from our chat here today. And any advice to any travelers out there that still are kind of really cautious and feeling a bit dubious about going away?
Well, I definitely understand that that feeling that most people have. But again, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people traveling literally all over the country and all over the world. And if you want to do it, you definitely can do it. Just be safe about it. Wear your mask and wash your hands on a regular basis. And I believe you'd be okay doing it. We don't get in mass groups where lots of people are around. We pretty much, still stay to ourselves. But even the vacations or the staycations we do in Las Vegas, we're not hanging out with a bunch of people. We go in and secure the room, if you will, and we get Instacart, or we'll go to Costco, and we have, with our membership, I mean, we have washers and dryers and refrigerators, full kitchens and everything. So it's just a getaway, even if it's 10, 15, 20 miles from our home, and it's just beautiful location. So you can literally stay self-contained in your bubble there, but still get away. So many people, what I'm seeing, that aren't traveling because they're a little bit afraid to do it at this time, mentally, I can see it's bugging them because they can't go to movies, they can't go anywhere else, and you can see it's affecting their families. And I'm hoping that they take the opportunity, especially those that are working with us, to go out and travel and breathe a little bit. And I think it makes a big difference if you do that, just from a mindset.
Absolutely. Well, Darryl, it's been a pleasure speaking to you. Hopefully I'll get to travel and meet you in person one day in the future, you and your wonderful wife, and safe travels wherever you go next. And thank you very much for taking part in the program.
You are welcome.
I'm joined on Zoom with Jonathan G. Good to see you, Jonathan. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you very much, Shane. Are you okay?
I'm very well. Now, we have a mutual friend in common. Now, tell me about how you met our friend Laurence.
It was in a pool in Mexico. Sat around drinking a lot of cocktails and doing a lot of silly games. So, it was very well introduced with alcohol.
Well, it sounds like the Laurence I know. Now, let's get straight on with it. We're talking about everything travel. Tell me about your 2020 and where you have travelled to.
So I started off in Portugal. Start of the year, COVID wasn't really a thing. Everything was as normal as we understood. And then also COVID hit in end of March, and all our holidays got cancelled. So we normally go on 15 holidays a year, and we travel around the world, which is great. But COVID hit. Airlines cancelled the holidays, which was shocking. So when we came out of lockdown, point one, we said we need to go away. Where could we go? And the only place that was open was Italy. So we ended up going to Italy for 3 weeks, and it was a much needed holiday. And then we came back, and then a couple of weeks later went off to Turkey, and then came back. They're the only 2 holidays we've had this year, really, during the COVID pandemic.
And what's your thoughts on all of it, your travel to those places, Turkey and Italy?
Towards my fiance, she was panicking a little bit because obviously what she reads in the news and what she heard on the newspapers and read on the newspapers. But at the end of the day, it was as safe as it normally is on a day-to-day basis. We got on the plane like normal. All we got is a mask on. So it didn't bother us one little bit. And when we finally got to the destinations, the hotels, they were checking our temperatures. They were saying you've got to wear your masks when you walk to the toilet, if you go to the restaurant and whatnot. But apart from that, everything else was fantastic, really. Exactly what I thought it was going to be.
So you felt safe, basically?
Yeah, undoubtedly, Turkey was. I felt like COVID had gone away. If I'm truthfully honest with you, I felt like COVID had gone away. There was no stress about it at all. So
what have yourself and your partner got planned for 2021 then?
We've got Dubai booked for January. We're getting married in September, so we've got our honeymoon what we've got to get booked for. Beforehand, we're probably going to go to the Maldives because of the Zika virus. We have to start trying for babies after our wedding, so we don't want to have the Zika virus and whatnot. So we're going to go to places that have got the Zika virus so we don't get affected, really. So we're going to try and do that. And we've got a holiday home in Portugal, so we're going to try and get over there a couple of times as well.
Well, we'll stay connected and we'll stay friends from now on in, Jonathan, for sure. There's one place I've never been yet is Portugal. Now, Travel Boom 2021, that's what we're talking about. That's what we're trying to hashtag out there and put out to the universe. So in your personal opinion of what you can see at the moment, do you think travel will get back to some kind of normality for next year?
I think it will, especially with the vaccine coming into play at the end of this year. I think, this is just me personally thinking, and probably more hope that everyone starts relaxing and thinking, well, we've got the vaccine coming, more people are then going to be immune from the deadly virus, and we can all get back to the norm, so to say, and and travel firms will be able to open up the doors with wide open arms, saying, "Come on, let's go abroad."
Would you say people are getting fed up now of being confined, to lockdowns and rules, and that people are wanting to travel?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. I think everyone enjoys a holiday. Everyone wants a holiday, and I think they need a holiday. People work hard. And I think it was a statistic I read the other week that people spend majority of their money, what they save up, on holidays because they need to relax and they need the vitamin D from the sun to be able to enjoy, whether it's 10 days, whether it's 4 days, whether it's 2 weeks. It's a holiday, and people need that in their lives. And this year it's caused too many people to be angry and upset because they've not been able to do the things they want to do.
The important thing of this show is talking to people, normal people, who people can relate to, who go on holidays. They're 1-2 holidays a year. Any words of advice to those watching that are just like you, like the holidays? Any words of advice to them with regards to travel?
I'd just keep looking out for the best deals that you can do. You know, the prices are going to go up. You know, I go on quite a few holidays, so I've looked at the prices. The prices are fluctuating because obviously they've been hit hard. But at the end of the day, you know, I wouldn't hold back. You only have got one life. Go and live it. Simple as, you know, and that's my motto from start to finish. And I think anyone that knows me, you know, is you live life to the full. Don't let COVID hold you back. And if the government are saying you can go to these places, go to these places, because obviously they know the statistics and it's safe for you to go.
One of our crew members was saying earlier on about the whole thing with travel at the moment is the kind of the lockdown, when you come back, the actual quarantine stage. What's your thoughts on that, having to, you know?
Well, luckily, it's coming back from Italy this year. We didn't have to quarantine because it wasn't on the list. But when we was in Turkey, it came on the list. So we had to, when we came back, quarantine for 14 days. I've heard the government and whatnot are looking to slash that down to 7 days, but that's not coming to fruition yet. But that probably might come in the new year. But 14 days, it's, in the hindsight of it all, if you can go to a place and you have 2 weeks holiday, a week's holiday, and you have to come back for 14 days, it's a risk you're willing to take, really.
Yeah, but some people can't do that, can they? So I'm just thinking, you know, it's some people that can't, or a lot of people that can't, you know. So
that's fair. No, I totally understand it. Luckily, I've got a flexible job which I can work from home for, and people do have that flexibility. But to I wasn't thinking about them people, unfortunately. Sorry, I was thinking about myself and people in my situation. But if you're not able to do the 14 days, it is hard. And hopefully, fingers crossed, when they do bring the 7-day rule in, more people will be able to get that leeway from work, or unfortunately have to book 2 weeks off to go on a 1 week holiday, because obviously they have to isolate.
That's right, exactly. It's difficult times, but the idea is to get the stories out there, to talk about what's going on in travel. People are traveling at the moment, and just hearing people's stories and trying to get the Travel Boom 2021 a reality. So thank you very much, Jonathan, for your time. Safe travels wherever you decide to go next with your family.
Thank you very much, Shane. Thank you very much.
Hopefully I'll get to see you in a pool in Mexico in the near future.
Definitely, 100%.
Thank you very much. So that was Jonathan G there joining us on the show. We'd love to hear all your comments. Keep them coming in, and hopefully we will feature them on the show coming up soon.